The year is 1497. An Italian explorer named John Cabot, sailing under the English flag, set out to find a shorter route to Asia. Instead, he stumbled upon the rocky, fog-covered shores of what would later become Newfoundland. This was one of the first European landfalls in North America since the Vikings arrived centuries earlier. Over the years, it became a hub for fishing fleets from all over Europe, and eventually part of what we know today as Canada. But of course, it's worth remembering that these weren't the first people here. Indigenous peoples, the Beothuk, Mi'kmaq, and Innu, had lived in Newfoundland for thousands of years before Cabot's arrival. So now, when you hear the word Newfoundland, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For me, and probably for many of you watching, it's the Newfoundland dog, a big, fluffy, water-loving breed that's just as rugged as the island itself. These gentle giants are world famous, but apart from them, what else makes this place unique? What is life actually like there, and how does it compare to the rest of Canada? Let's fly all the way across the Atlantic and find out. So, where is Newfoundland found? Well, it's the easternmost part of Canada, sitting right on the edge of the North Atlantic Ocean. It's about 900 kilometers east of the Canadian mainland, separated by the Strait of Belle Isle and the Gulf of St. Lawrence. To get there, you can fly directly into cities like St. John's or Gander, or if you're feeling adventurous, you can hop on a ferry from Nova Scotia, though that trip can take up to 16 hours depending on the route. Now, is Newfoundland just another province of Canada, or something more? Well, here's a fun fact. It actually used to be its own country, right up until 1949, when it joined Canada as the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. Out of Canada's 10 provinces, it's one of the most sparsely populated. Newfoundland itself covers an area of about 108,000 square kilometers, making it larger than Iceland but smaller than New Zealand. In terms of islands, it's actually the world's 16th largest. The population of the island? Roughly 520,000 people. If it were its own independent nation, that would rank it around the 171st most populated in the world, a little less than Malta. That means only about 5 people per square kilometer live here. Pretty empty, right? If I had to summarize Newfoundland's geography in one word, it would be rugged. Think rocky coastlines, dramatic cliffs, fjords, and mountains. The interior has thick forests and freshwater lakes, while the coastlines look like something straight out of Norway or Scotland. The highest point on the island is the Cabots in the Long Range Mountains, which is part of the Appalachian chain. And because it's an island, the coastline stretches for more than 17,000 kilometers, full of coves, inlets, and hidden fishing villages. The climate? Well, let's just say Newfoundland isn't exactly tropical. It's classified as cool and maritime. Summers are short and mild, with average temperatures around 15 to 22 degrees Celsius, while winters are long, snowy, and often windy. The island is famous for its fog. In fact, the Grand Banks just offshore are among the foggiest places on Earth. On the flip side, that same location makes Newfoundland one of the best spots to see icebergs drifting down from Greenland, as well as humpback whales passing by in summer. Newfoundland's location also makes it the most easterly inhabited place in North America. If you were to stand at Cape Spear, you'd literally be the closest person in North America to Europe. If you sailed directly east, you'd cross the Atlantic before arriving in Ireland. Head south, and you'd eventually reach Bermuda. Travel west, and you'll make your way back into Quebec. And if you went directly to Newfoundland's antipode, the exact opposite point on Earth, you'd find yourself in the Indian Ocean, far off the coast of Australia. So what does this remoteness mean? Well, one of the big upsides is clean air and unspoiled nature. Newfoundland's small population and winds off the Atlantic keep the air fresh and pollution levels low. And the scenery, from Gromorn National Park's fjords to the windswept coastlines, feels almost untouched. It's a place where nature still feels very, very big. Now, let's talk wildlife. Canada in general is known for its bears, moose, and beavers. Newfoundland has moose in huge numbers. In fact, they were introduced here about a century ago, and now there are well over 100,000 of them. That means Newfoundland actually has the highest concentration of moose in the world. The island is also home to caribou, puffins, and massive pods of whales. Unlike mainland Canada, you won't find grizzly bears here, which might be a relief for some of you. But be careful driving. The moose are big enough to total a car. So, what about cities? The capital of Newfoundland is St. John's, located on the far east of the island. It's home to about 110,000 people, which is nearly half of Newfoundland's entire population. It's one of the oldest European-founded cities in North America, and it's got this colorful, quirky charm. The downtown streets are lined with brightly painted row houses, often called Jelly Bean Row. The city has a working harbor, a lively music scene, and Signal Hill, where the very first transatlantic wireless signal was received. After St. John's, the next largest communities are Corner Brook and Gander, though they're much smaller by comparison. St. John's is known for being both cozy and windswept. It's got a proud history, a friendly local culture, and yes, a bit of that small-town vibe. People often describe Newfoundlanders as some of the friendliest folks in Canada, with a unique accent and sense of humor that's instantly recognizable.
Here we are, skipper, all the way from Newfoundland up the southern shore. And then the old faggy day here, I'd say you're well accustomed to that over your way. A little bit of sea thrown in on the beach there. Not a good day for some things, but it's a grand day for other things.
The city also has a decent quality of life, although the cost of living can be high, especially for imported goods. Each province in Canada has its own flag, and this is Newfoundland's. Designed in 1980, it's full of symbolism. The blue triangles represent the sea, the red ones the human struggle, and the golden arrow points towards a bright future. And finally, let's wrap this up with some weird and wonderful facts about Newfoundland. There's a town called Dildo, which, yes, has become a bit of a tourist attraction thanks to its unusual name. Newfoundland has its very own time zone. It's the only place in North America that's offset by half an hour instead of a full hour. The island has some of the world's best iceberg and whale viewing. And fun fact, St. John's is actually closer to London than it is to Vancouver. So there we have it, Newfoundland in a nutshell. Like and subscribe for more content like this. And as always, thank you very much for watching.